Welcome back to part 4 of the Siberian Bobcat. I'm using the white charcoal pencil to add some hair in this area. We're going to be finishing up this cat. The back of the cat's not going to have the detail that the front did because we want emphasis to be on the front of the cat. I'm also going to use the number 47 Naples yellow and the 100 white pastel pencil, which is what I'm using now. Just putting in a few hairs here and there. And this is the Naples yellow number 47 Conte pastel pencil. Using my black NuPastel 229 to break up these white hairs by putting black hairs in between them to make it appear more random. As we move down the back, we want it to be cooler and go into the background. So we want warmer colors to come forward, cooler colors to go backwards. So I'm base coating the back with 727.3 dark blue-gray Rembrandt. This is a great color. It has a slight blue tint to it, and it is a dark gray, so it's going to help push that backwards. So I took the paper off of it and sanded it and used the side of it. And we're working down the body of the cat. Now I'm using a little 700.5 black over that to make it even darker. The next color I'm using, working down the side of the cat, is our 538.5 Morris Violet, and underneath that I'm using our 409.7 Burnt Umber. The burnt umber is much lighter, as you can see. And back to the 727.3 dark blue-gray Rembrandt. Always rub it with my finger, but it doesn't, I don't think it really helps blend it. So now I'm using my 229 black NuPastel to pull a few hairs into the background, just on that edge. And I'm going into the back of the cat as well. We still have to form this fur area, so I'm using the black to form the areas of dark fur. Sometimes I use the edge, and then sometimes I just use the bottom of the NuPastel, the flat bottom of it, to add areas of darker fur, which is what I'm doing here. I don't necessarily want hairs. I want that darker shape. Then I can turn it on the edge and add a few hairs. So working down towards the bottom edge of the cat's body, I'm using my black to add a few dark hairs. I switch from the black to the 353 Cordovan, which is, I guess you guys have guessed, my favorite brown new pastel. It's just beautiful dark brown color. So now I'm just using the bottom of it, really kind of a blunt edge, to just add color into this area. So I need it to get to be darker than it is. So by using the bottom edge, I can cross hatch the color into that area. Here I'm using the bottom of my 353 to really aggressively add more color. I wasn't getting where I needed to go with just the edge, so I needed to add more color. Now I'm coming back over that with the 727.3 Rembrandt blue-gray. Every layer of pastel I add darkens the area or changes the color. So that's what I'm doing here. Now we're finishing adding the hair to the back of the bobcat. Since it's in shadow, I want to use a darker gray that's still light but darker. So I'm using 289 cold toner gray to add these hairs into the shadow area. Here I'm adding more black with the bottom edge of my 229 black. And I'm switching back to adding more gray hair, which really isn't gray hair. It's light hairs, but they look gray in the shadows. So this is 289 cold toner gray. Here I'm using my Carbothello light gray pencil 720 to add a few hairs, just to show you, you can use either the gray pastel sticks or you can use your pencils, whatever's most comfortable for you. And here I'm using the 289 cold toner gray again. As I work towards the bottom, the stomach area of the bobcat, I've switched to the 299 light gray, which is lighter than the 289. because the hairs in this area are lighter because of the light that's coming through from the other side. Still using the 299 light gray new pastel. Now I've switched back to the 289 because this is more in shadow. That top edge, I used the 299 because the light was hitting it more. But on the body of the cat, I'm using the 289. So pay attention to these value changes when you work. Here I'm using the black, 229 new pastel, to add some black to break up those shapes and to darken that area a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. And it's not super sharp. It's got a dull edge on it. Because again, we're not wanting super sharp hair everywhere. In this area, I'm using the 276 buff as I work on the very bottom edge of the fur. I want to create that glow that I can see coming from the sun that's on the other side of the cat. And then a few random hairs on the stomach. This is the 289 again, putting more hair on that side. I've zoomed out a bit in this shot, and I'm using the 289, continuing to add hair to the back and black in between. Now, when you get tired of adding these little hairs and it becomes tedious, take a break, do something else, and come back to it. Because this makes all the difference in your painting. Because we're getting down to the finish now. So I'm using the bottom of my black 229 as I work towards the back of my bobcat. I want it to be darker in this area. Use the tip or use the edge to darken and pull a few hair up on the uppermost edge of the cat. Here I'm going to use the 727.3 dark blue gray. I don't think it's dark enough, so I'm going to put some of that over it. That also helps blend in some of the shapes. Then I'm following that with a little bit of 700.5, which is black Rembrandt, and back to the 289 cold toner gray for those hairs that are in shadow. I'm just repeating the colors as we work down the body of our bobcat. So we're getting close to the finish now. This is cocoa brown. I'm using the edge of 253 cocoa brown to pull some lighter hairs down into this area that's more brightly lit, especially backlit from the light that's coming from behind the bobcat. I'm using my 727.3 dark blue-gray to base coat the back of the Bobcat. I'm using the 229 black new pastel on its edge and on the flat bottom of it to add darker black color into the fur. Here I'm using Rembrandt 700.5, which is black, to add some black over that dark blue to darken the back. I'm using new pastel Harbor Blue 345 in this area. That's right underneath the Bobcat and also in part of the shadow area. Then I can use my 229 black and start pulling some hairs down into that area as we work towards the finish. I'm using the bottom edge of my 211 new pastel white to just crosshatch some brighter snow in that area. Now to finish up our Bobcat, I'm going to use a piece of drywall screen and my 100 Rembrandt. I'm scraping the Rembrandt pastel across the screen, and it's leaving white pastel dust to represent snow across the back end of the cat. I've decided not to paint the furthest end of the cat. You can, because you'll have, if you decide to paint the whole cat, you can. You will have that line drawing available when you get these videos. But if you decide not to, I couldn't, at this point, couldn't see where it would be of any benefit to paint the bottom of the cat. It made more sense to me to end the painting here because it made a better composition focusing on the face. So I'm using the screen to put a dust of snow across it, and that's where I'm going to end my painting. Now, after you put that dusting of snow on, you need to lay a piece of paper over it and gently press it in to the velour paper so it doesn't fall off when you have it framed. I'm going to put a little more snow over other areas of the painting. And now I'm looking for things that I need to fix. I'm going to use my new pastel to add little tiny snowflakes to the face of the cat. I hope you've enjoyed this project. And if you'd like to see more videos or more of my work, please go to kwit.com. See you next time.